Hello everybody. Today we'll be in Phoenix Journal number 27. We'll be doing number 11 out of 12 deadly sins. And number 11 will be vanity. First, we will define vanity. 1. The condition or character of being vain. Conceit, arrogant self-esteem. 2. Ambitious display. Ostentation. 3. The quality or state of being fruitless, useless, etc. 4. That which is vain or unsubstantial. Now we will define vain. 1. Filled with or showing undue admiration for oneself, one's appearance, etc. Conceited. 2. Unproductive, fruitless. 3. Having no real basis, empty, vain hopes. 4. Ostentatious, showy, in vain, to no purpose, without effect. Vanity. Then is the preoccupation with admiring, changing or altering and displaying one's physical appearance, image, or form, because the vain one feels unworthy or inferior within, and often hides behind ostentatious, pretentious, excessive exhibition, display or self, or of superior arrogance. Narcissism, then, is one who unduly, excessively unjustly, admires self inside and outside in self-evaluated status and separation from others because he feels superior to others in appearance, in intelligence, and in importance. Evidence of the obsession for appearing beautiful physically according to self-accepted or adopted social standards is most prominent with both male and females, primarily with your Western civilization. Many ones have become ruled by the preoccupied with their physical appearance, which then most often means being acceptable to others. Why? Because the Antichrist has told you and given precise limitations of what is beauty. For example, within your controlled advertising media, you have lovely ones who model for products. This to give you desire for these products by creating images, for better acceptance value by appealing to your innate drive within, which they have corrupted and erroneously redefined as sex drive. Remember, libido? And thus cause you to want the product which gives the false promise of beauty, sex appeal, health, youth, wealth, status, etc., and according to their limited standards of what you must desire of what is beauty, sex appeal, health, youth, wealth, status, etc., which these models, you are taught, represent because they look good. With all of the attention given from childhood only to the physical appearance, the spirit within shrivels and pines for allowance and acceptance and freedom. This, because of the anti-God, which they now allowed within, slowly crushes and all but destroys the beauty and divineness within, which is the spirit of life of God at perfection. Very rare it is indeed this day and time that ones who have become firmly trapped in the vanity game of the adversary are able to recognize the folly, and thus seek to release this false unworthiness and limitation, brought about by the superficial preoccupation of physical image. You must accept self regardless of physical form. If you recognize that you wear too much weight upon your frame, and it is not healthy for you, then you must decide to change of it, and then do it. And a lot of times all it takes is just closing your mouth. Until then, need you love yourself, God within. Less because you look or don't look a certain way. No. Commune with your spirit within and find out why you consume more than you're able to use. And make a little point here with that is both with the consuming, you consume too much food, you stop eating as much. You consume too much evilness or wickedness within your mind, you stop consuming those things such as the media, lies, etc. And it also helps what you're putting back out. Don't forget, everything that comes to your mind, every image is there somewhere. It's stored. And it comes back out through your actions, your deeds, and your words. So if you want to contain truth, you read truth. You want knowledge, you find knowledge. You want all this random BS on the internet, you look at that. It's really up to you what you put your mind to. Until then, need you love yourself, God within, less because you look or don't look a certain way? No. Commune with your spirit within and find out why you consume more than you are able to use. Learn to understand why you do something, and then you can work out for positive adjustment within. Your physical health represents your inner health. Disease of the body is the physical manifestation of what began as disease, or dis-ease, in the mind. Clean up your thoughts and your body will be healthy, and vibrant as well. It is really so simple, but most of you miss it. You need not miss it anymore now, right? We would also like to speak a bit about what is termed cosmetic surgery, butchery. Your own statistics show that many women feel less feminine or less attractive if they have small breasts. Why does this happen? Because the images of bigger breasts and voluptuous women are thrust before them, beginning when they are children in nearly all of the controlled media. These young girls, women, feel if they had bigger breasts that somehow they will be more acceptable to men, and thus also be envied by women. And a lot of them tell themselves, I'm doing it for myself. That's my own opinion, but you ones often, on the one hand, do not wish to be considered sex objects. Yet you desire to fit what you are taught, programmed, is a sexual physical attractive female figure. Don't you see, beloved ones? You allow doctors to cut open your bodies and cause you pain and suffering, and often later complications just to fit an acceptable to you physical image. Again, mankind adversary has corrupted the purity of the women's breast by making them into hideous sexual objects of lustful desire. The beautiful grace of the feminine body, which was created in the beautiful perfection of God, has been cut into pieces. Breasts, vagina, mouth, neck, legs, buttocks, etc. A physical lustful desire. Do you now know why the breasts were given unto women? Or do you know why the breasts were given unto women? Not as sexual objects, but for the suckling and nurturing of her babe, a new creature of God. Remember this, women. The next time you think to make yourself bigger breasts, you dishonor God within by despising your given physical form and wishing to cut it open to make it into some image of what is appealing. To who? Is it yourself? Is it some man? Why? Why need you allow imposed images of perfection thrust down your throat? The answer, precious ones, is you must not allow others' opinions and images to make you feel self-unworthy. Here's a test for you women. Upon awaking in the morning, next, go to your full-length vanity mirror and look upon yourself naked. What do you see? Can you look within the vanity mirror without your makeup and hairdo, your girdles and padded razors, and fine garments and see God? If not, then recognize and understand your transgression. Commune with God within, forgive self, and do not look again into the mirror until you do see and know the love and beauty of God reflected back. I mean, same goes for makeups especially, You don't think you look pretty until you look at yourself with the makeup in the mirror. I mean, why weren't you beautiful beforehand? What convinced you is what you should be asking. Who convinced you? Surely it wasn't yourself, because you really didn't see that in yourself as a child. Something did it. You got to find the cause, and you'll see the effect. And the same goes for you ones who are of male form of the human. You experience vanity somewhat different than women, but most of you still suffer feelings of inferior unworthiness when you gaze upon your nude body and face. We have seen you. God has listened to you. He's literally in you. Don't forget, He is your spirit. What makes it up? The dialogue within goes something like this. If only I was taller, had bigger shoulders, a larger penis, hair upon my chest and or face, had a flatter stomach, a thinner frame, more muscles, more hair, blue eyes, brown eyes, whiter teeth, tan skin, light skin, and I would be accepted. Then the dialogue goes something like this. If only I had more money, a new car, a better job position, and I would be accepted. Do you recognize anyone here? I mean, at one point I could say this for myself. Can you? You want to admit it? I mean, you don't got to commit it to anybody but yourself. You are the male species. Do you see, precious ones? You set yourselves up by believing the lie of images, to always fail in some way or another. Accept yourself within. Honor your physical body which has been loaned to you, for this is the wondrous beautiful vehicle given of the Father, for your spirit within of God, to experience the wonders of creative spiritual unfoldment upon 3D dimensional physical illusion. Now, within your Western civilization, nearly every little girl and boy wants to look like someone else they have seen in a movie or on the street, or in an advertisement. They are taught through the program media and advertising not to accept themselves as a beautiful individual, reflection of God, because their physical features, they are told, do not measure up to the ideal presented of what is acceptable beauty. It is no wonder that the cosmetic and related industries make billions of dollars off of you ones, because they, the anti-God, create the image and feed the vanity which is a result of one's feeling they never quite measure up, and will thus seek to improve what is now their perceptions of physical imperfection. Even many of the ones your society defines as beautiful, while they are young, are most often cast aside when they begin to show signs of aging. And you see all these women, they'll try everything to stop the aging or stop that process. Can't stand the white hairs. They'll put some dye in their hair to make them feel better, which, I can get one to feel a little better, but at the end of the day, it's a natural process, and you're just as beautiful as you was. You just think, because of things around you, that you're not. And those who depend only upon their looks while they are young will find themselves frightened of aging, and will thus become empty inside and bitter, because of the rejection of very ones who molded and accepted them while they were physically young in appearance. What can you do, parents, to help positively guide your child toward the path of inner beauty and spiritual freedom, and away from societal imposed limitations of acceptance? You must encourage the child first to understand his/her oneness with all, God Aton. And this is something else to remember in this little intersection here, is the first, one of the main laws of God, even when you're tampered with the book, is seek first the kingdom of God. There's no ifs, ands, or buts what you should be seeking, and that is God within. That should be your image. It's God's image. Not making your image into God's image. Well, you should be in His image, not the other way around. Trying to mold His into yours, Makes no sense. His is already perfect. Why would you mess with it? You must encourage the child first to understand his/her oneness with all, God Aton. Other humans, the planet, the mineral, plant, and animal kingdoms, other planets, all of life and all of creation. Don't forget, all this is connected. These beings that are coming, they are your brothers and sisters. We're all made of the same atoms. You want to look at it like that. Teach the child about God and His love for all, of His fragments of self. We're all just those fragments. Teach the child about the natural laws of balance given forth to maintain order upon creation and within creation. Teach the child about the nature of God's gift of free will and personal responsibility each one has to honor God within and to serve only His will, because He is our just and wise spiritual creator ruler and the King of wisdom. Teach them about the adversary and how it has fooled many of God's children. Teach the child that which they may perceive as separation. It is only illusion of separation, and that many others ones they will meet will not understand this truth, because they are spiritually ignorant and duped by the adversary of godness, and so then not yet spiritually aware. Teach the child to honor and be tolerant of all other human fragments, as fragments of the one self of God, and the creation. I mean, it goes back to one of the golden rules. Treat others as you want to be treated. Simple as that. You treat other ones like they're God or as self, then you're going to pay them respect. You're going to pay them honor. You're going to love them like you would do love God. You're going to treat them like a friend. And yet teach the child that she must also recognize and tolerate the behavior. Recognize and not tolerate the behavior, ignorant, prejudiced opinions, misperceptions, and actions which blatantly break the laws of balance of God and creation. So teach the child he must defend self with honor of God's laws. If one of these ignorant, spiritually weak ones wishes to cause harm in thought, word, or deed to him or another, teach the child about his power to co-create with God, and why he must monitor his thoughts, words, and deeds in order to recognize his transgressions, so that he can create a godly world in service to God's will. Then you must teach the child to always see, develop, and honor the spiritual and loving beauty within self and all others, which is the birthright of all of God's children. Teach the child the truth that spiritual oneness, beauty and power and wisdom and love within can never age or die, or be taken away from anyone, because the Spirit is what is real. It is the Spirit of life that exists within all of the creation, and the continual unfolding blossom of joy and love. And making a point here, there's not two-ness nor three-ness, it's oneness. Because, make a little point here, you think of one that goes into three, why not just pray to the one that goes into those three, that three goes into the rest? In that case, it's just all one into every one of them. It makes no sense to have a three in one. It's one in all in one. And so you beloved parents of God must also then live in accordance to the laws and will of God, which you have taught the child. To set God's Aton's example of balance and truth, which the child will surely follow. I mean, what would you rather follow? Someone's words or their actions? How does a preacher man act behind the closed doors versus what they're saying? What about the children? They're going to be following your example. If you scream all the time, they're going to be screaming at you all the time. If you teach them to be silent and understanding and willing to absorb things and learn, they're going to be like that. They're like how you're in your image, in a sense. You're their parent, just as God is your parent. And brother, mother, sister, and all that. So when you have done your duty for God Aton, as parent, you have given, to the best of your understanding and awareness, the child the love and discipline of God's will and the laws of balance. And you yourself, too, have set the example by your actions and behavior. Then you must release the child to God, that he may choose with his own free will his experiences and learn about his personal responsibility in the manifestation of life. Is it wrong to want to look your best? Not at all. You must simply and honestly understand what truly motivates you to be neat and clean in your dress and appearance. In your appearance gives honor to self and to God, as long as you don't secretly despise and are not ashamed of your appearance, and seek to alter it or hide its reflection of beauty. If you are acceptable and give honor to self as you are in physical form, whether it be male, female, black, white, tall, petite, red hair, or gray hair, you will be acceptable and give honor to God Aton. All others, they are individual fragments of God Aton as well. Whatever their limited human prejudice and opinions are, matters not at all to you. And just a little quick note, Aton is one with light, I believe is the meaning of it, just so you know. And it is the same one with the Egyptians. It's the one light source. Or sun, as they put it. Remember, in the big picture, you are not your physical body. You are God's fragment, occupying the physical manifested form of your choosing to allow experience upon this wondrous creation. All are beauteous creatures of God Aton. Each is different. Isn't that wonderful? God too enjoys variety of his creatures within the creation. Why think you there be so many types of life forms on just your tiny planet? Do you not enjoy the varieties of uniqueness of all the creatures and creations within this creation? Such as each type of flower, each color of the rainbow, each season of the climate, each insect, each animal, and each human being? Are we saying it is wrong to wear your makeup and have your stylish hairdos and wear upon your body's fine, beauteous garments? Not at all. You simply must recognize why you do these things. If you love who and what you are, within and without, and your nakedness, then enjoy playing your games of makeup and dress up, because you enjoy it. It is fun. You can afford to, and it gives you happiness to do so. Not because you despise your body and countenance for perceived imperfections, or because you wish to impress others as to the finery of your jewels and garments, that somehow you are finer too. For example, you ones have designer everything now, such as cars, furniture, appliances, clothing, cosmetics, bags, while some designers have generated more prestige and admiration than others. Do you know many simply copy other designs? And many of your more celebrated and prestigious designers use the creative design of their apprentices. Yes, and they place their own name upon the garment. A bit of stealing, we would say. What is the point? If it is a garment, enjoy the beauty, the fine quality, and fit of the garment, because you enjoy the garment. Not because you want the prestige and snobbery, not to mention vanity, of the designer label to be noticed by that might somehow make you better than, or socially accepted by others. I mean, I like to think of the Jordans as they wear it on the shoes all the time. Or around and say, I got Jordans on. These are Gucci. Do you see the difference we are pointing out, dear ones? You blindly run about seeking approval from any but yourselves. We simply want you to recognize your folly and the things you do and desire and correct of it for you and for God Apton, our Father within you. Free yourselves from the bondage of vanity, and you will be one large step closer to reaching God's kingdom within you. Are we saying it is wrong to return color to the gray hair upon your heads, and to otherwise cosmetically hide from you what you consider signs of aging? Not necessarily wrong, just simply fact that you create, but are unable to accept certain changes of body deterioration, and most of all, of you ones are horrified of aging or being old in your physical form. Why? Because you've been taught again by the adversary that somehow you are less a human being and less attractive when you are old, and will be rejected and often are as unable to contribute to humanity. Do you know, dear students, that it is that very fear planted by Satan in your minds which starts the clock of aging, ticking within your very beings? You ones, by believing you will live only up to 100 years or so, begin your own aging process within you. When you are small children, man, let's go back to the question I keep asking. Who told you died 100 years old? And because of the now created by the adversary through you ones, harshness, pollution, and poison upon your plane, you really have no desire within to stay longer. So your body starts this deterioration process. Why are some more vibrant and healthier than others throughout their lifetime? The ones who are vibrant and healthy are in love with life and honor their spirit of life within. Their bodies simply age because they too perceive limit of lifespan from early indoctrination. Only they age perhaps with more dignity and grace because of the degree of spiritual purity, of joy and love, which they have recognized and cultivated within themselves and have given graciously to others. I'd like to make a point here. If we're taught from a young age that you can live longer, that you'll be fine. But it's like this. If you're taught from a young age you can be Christ-like and be like Christ, and it's constantly on your billboards, on your TVs, that you can be like Christ and walk like Him, be like Him, talk like Him, then you can do it. It'll become known knowledge instead of something you can believe. You'll live it. Do you know that you could create a body which would live for a nearly endless number of years in your counting, if you but knew it inside your mind to be true? Our brothers of the physical form upon Pleiades live more than some 1,000 years in your counting in their physical form. At one time, your ancient civilizations of Atlantis and Lemura, your ancestors also lived to be over 1,000 years of age in your counting. Remember, your immortal soul never ages, students. Most physical manifested bodies, though, eventually deteriorate. Not always because of fear, but often because one simply tire and become bored in having the same form. So they create deterioration of the form and move on to the new realms and forms within creation. In the higher realms of God's kingdom, your form becomes high concentration of cellular light, and you can change it at will, since it is one with your spirit within. It has often been said, beauty is the eye of the beholder. So behold, through the eyes of God Aton, the beauty of all of the glorious, wondrous varieties of creatures and creations within the creation. Only the anti-God or adversary, through cancerous prideful narcissism, seeks to bring the illusion of ugliness and define, limit, and confine what is beauteous, so as to impose upon you boundaries of separation from Father, Mother, Aton, and the creation. The adversary cannot do this if you do not allow it to let you dishonor yourself by buying into its lie of standard beauty. So in closing on vanity, we would share a form of vanity which is most interesting and somewhat humorous to us. We observe many of ones who even choose their pets in accordance to acceptable beauty standards set by the adversary. For example, ones often choose the breed of cat such as Persian or Himalayan, not because they love the animal, but because they desire the expensive social defined beauty to match their carpet and or their self-imposed image of themselves which they wish to project upon their admiring friends and associates. Ah well, it shows just to what ends you ones will go in your desire to give the impression you are something other than what you truly are. And that's all for number 11.